person this week is Kevin Dombrowski. He's heading up a new group called Revitalize Delaware. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You know, tell me about your group, relatively new.
Sure, yeah, we're technically 3 months old, but about 1 year in the making. And we're a young conservative group that's really aimed at increasing the debate and dialogue here in Delaware. We've seen that the debate and dialogue is really one-sided, and as a result, there's no accountability in a lot of what's happening in the state. And we think that the lack of accountability is heading or taking the state in the wrong direction, and we really want to hold those elected to be more accountable of what they're doing and to make Delaware a little bit economically sustainable in the future.
Now, Revitalize Delaware is a PAC, correct?
Correct.
So you don't necessarily align with any particular party, or you do?
We align with fiscally conservative policies, which tend to align with Republicans in the state. Additionally, we're really focused on practical educational reform. And then third, and most importantly, we want to make Delaware thrive in the future, because right now we see spending going one way, revenues going the other way, businesses leaving the state as opposed to coming here. So a lot of it kind of, at its core, is practical educational reform, fiscal responsibility, and business-friendly practices that, again, make Delaware thrive.
You know, are you able to attract, you know, the young people to your group, the millennials, the sought-after demographic into your group?
Yeah, so I am a Republican, and when you're a millennial and you say you're a Republican, it tends to be a bad word, and that's what we're always thought to believe. However, when we launched this group, we already have 200 people signed up. We had a recent event with 75 people there. There's a lot of interest, and a lot of the interest with young people is we realize that there's a lot of debt that keeps on lingering, that every single year that debt is kicked down the road, and we realize that we're going to be responsible to pay for that debt, and how you pay for that is increase taxes and decrease government services, and we want to live here and we want Delaware to be better in the future for our families.
You submitted an op-ed to the News Journal recently, and you know, speaking of this debt that keeps getting kicked down the road, when Governor John Carney passed his budget, he was saying this is a budget of shared sacrifice. You know, it seems like he is making choices, tough choices and decisions by raising taxes to get rid of this recurring debt. You don't see it that way necessarily.
Well, I don't really think that there's a revenue problem. Right now, Delaware, everyone knows, currently spends the 6th highest per capita in the United States on government expenditures. The reason that we've been afforded such a low tax burden with such high government spending is roughly 1/3 of all taxes are outsourced taxes, largely through the franchise taxes. So the money is there. That's not the problem. We feel like the big problem here in Delaware is that we're doing less with the money, and that there's no accountability with that money, as opposed to not having the proper resources to do everything we want. And that's really where our focus is.
Has the Republican Party responded to Revitalize Delaware joining the political conversation?
Yeah, so a lot of the Republican officials really are excited with what we do, and excited that we're trying to empower and get people off the bench, give them skin in the game to really take back this state. And what I mean by taking back this state is really, we think that one-sided government is not good for anyone down the line. We think that by increasing the debate, increasing the dialogue, we're eventually going to come up with better policies and better solutions that help everyone here in Delaware, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whether you're independent, and so on. You're
relatively new to Delaware, but are you familiar with the phrase the Delaware way?
I am, yeah. So Delaware way, everyone has a different meaning for that. I personally think that Delaware way means everyone gets along so well because everyone with skin in the game tends to be aligned in the same political way. I think the Delaware way is great in terms of dealing with things in a respectful manner, but at the same time, accountability, improvement, looking at point A to point B, seeing that the money is being spent in a way that delivers results, needs to be tied in with that Delaware way.
Are you going to be targeting candidates in the 2018 state Senate and House races in terms of raising money for them and putting money into their campaigns?
Our focus is not to be a funnel into campaigns. Our focus is to increase and increase debate and dialogue and to educate Delawareans through really a lot of thought pieces, whether it be through the News Journal, whether it be through other sites. We're going to have a social media presence where a lot of thought pieces on just ways that we think that Delaware can improve and chip away a lot of these debt burdens can be accomplished. That is our main focus. So that's where our money will be spent.
Okay, Kevin Dombrowski organizes the group Revitalize Delaware. Good luck.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll see you again very soon. You can watch this interview in its entirety at newsworks.org/Delaware.